Hi, this is Janet Skates and I'm in my studio and I'm about to begin work on this 3 by 4 foot canvas. This is a gallery wrapped 1.5 inch deep canvas, and I want to begin with some mark making to get the canvas activated and get going. And I want to present to you a few different ways that I do that. Today I'm going to be using Derwent ink blocks. These are sticks, like blocks. They also have pencils, which are wonderful, but I prefer the blocks for the canvas. I've got a Stabilo Aquarelle black pencil, and you guys know I've been talking about these for years. They're one of my favorite pencils. I use them on every layer of the painting. I love them. And I think I will be using some Neocolors today, the Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2 crayons. I might use some of those, I might not. I have graphite sticks, which I like to use those as well. I have a China marker, those are fun, and last but not least, some of the art graph blocks, which I love these as well. I use these quite often. So I'm going to get started today and just kind of walk you through my process where I begin in those first layers. And I'm going to start with my favorite. Let's start today with the Stabilo pencil, and I'm just going to begin with some marks. Those of you who followed any of my videos, or especially my journal page videos, know that I like to hold the pencils when I'm creating art toward the back here, very loosely. I twirl them as I make marks, rather than holding them, you know, like a writing instrument. So keep that in mind while you're doing your mark making as well. I'm going to do a little bit more with this, and then I'm going to bring in the China marker. And remember, as you're making marks, you can vary the size, the weight of the mark, so how hard you push on your instrument. When I create marks, I like to vary the sizes and the shapes so that I don't, get a uniformity. This is not a place that I want uniformity. So now I'm going to take the China marker. I'm just going to continue with these marks. I have no plan at all, and usually when I'm doing it, I like to have music going. So I don't have that going right now, but usually when I'm painting, I've got some great tunes happening too. So as I have this ready, now I'm going to bring in some of the art graph blocks. And again, no plan. I have no specific colors or anything like that in mind, even at this point. This is just happening. This is one of the art graph blocks, so you can, turn it sideways and get more color to apply there if you want. And you may or may not see any of these marks by the time this, this piece is finished. Sometimes I have marks that are visible in the end layers, and sometimes I've covered it all up with paint by the time that I'm finished. So I like the process of not knowing and just going with the flow. I've got some Derwent ink blocks now. Bring in some color here. These are so much fun. The pencils are great as well, just totally different experience. Lately, I have just been in love with this. It's kind of a tomato red that I have been playing around with. I've used it in so many pieces lately. I even bought nail polish in the same color because I don't paint my nails, but I paint my toenails. So anyway, I bought this color, and it's a mix of Pyroli red, a cadmium orange, and then some fluorescent red, I think is the mix that I use for that. It's just so fun. And so I've been using that a lot. So I've got that out. I'm sure that's going to end up somewhere in this painting. So I'm just going ahead and getting it into this piece. Well, now I'm going to add a little green. I'm looking here at what I've got. A little bit there. If you're not able to do live workshops right now with me, I hope that you know I have marked all of my courses half off. On the links are on my website, janetskates.com. They are marked half off. I started that during COVID, and I'm going to keep them at 50% off throughout the rest of 2020. So I hope that you can visit those links and try a class there as well. But I'm going to keep on with the YouTube videos too. So hopefully you will have fun with all of these different things that we have going on. All right, so I've got some marks here. I'm really happy with where I'm at. And now I'm going to put these away. And I'm going to activate some of this with a brush in water. So I use dirty water a lot. I like dirty water. But for so many colors that I have going on here at the moment, I'm going to use some clean water so I can really get the colors to show up and be very vibrant and get us kind of started off here with this piece. Now, I will begin by activating some of these heavier areas of color, and then I'm going to mix. You can see here where I've got this red and this this kind of gold. It's kind of a nickel azo gold art graph pencil, and so I'm pulling in color as I go here, starting with these bigger bodies. And of course, I'm not going for activating everything. I just want to get some of it happening. This is such a fun process. This is really gets me into the flow of the painting. See this green over here. Beautiful green going. I've started some pieces and gotten just to this point and maybe added just some white and a little bit of color, and the piece is finished. I didn't even take it any further. I just love what developed at this early stage. So I don't have to, I don't have an agenda. At this point, I really am just allowing this to come alive. I tend to be a very controlling influence on my own work. Like I can easily get really uptight and in it, and so music keeps me from that. Music keeps me really loosened up and creating, and so do the techniques that I use, like this one, for example. Allowing these drips to happen, allowing these colors to bleed and become energized in this process, that is what frees up my work. I think if I didn't use some of these techniques, I would be much more rigid. Gosh, I'm seeing a fall influence here. Where I'm at, I'm in the central U.S., and so it has been really hot, you know, like 100 degrees every day. That's our typical summer. But we got a wonderful cold front here yesterday, and it has cooled off like 30 or 40 degrees. It's 60 degrees Fahrenheit now, and it's fabulous. And I've got the windows open, so you can probably hear my blue jays out there squawking. Oh, and look here, we got a little spider on the ceiling. I don't know if you can see him. He's right there. That's fun. My little fall friend. So anyway, back to the point that I'm seeing a fall influence here that wasn't intentional at all. But I'm seeing it in these reds and purples, greens and golds. Leaves are going to be changing soon. Wow, I'm loving these colors, like really. So I'm going to continue here just a little bit more. Sometimes this, I have less marks than this and sometimes more. So I'm just seeing where they go.